Now on to football. Question for you. Why are Chelsea fans panicking?
I think the Boehly era is starting to go into questionable territory for some of them. I remember early on, it's the Boehly era, it's the Boehly era. But what I will say is I think that, some of the shift I do think has not hurt them, but put them in a position where they can't just throw their muscle around and make things happen the way that they're used to. Um, let's get it right. Chelsea is not used to being in a market where they lose out on targets. That's not how it goes. That's not what they're used to. And I'm seeing a lot more battles for the players that they're in for than I'm used to seeing. And I have a feeling it might be because they just don't have the same. I read something like Todd Boehly wants to be involved. He wants to run the transfers. Not sure if that's a great idea. And I think there's just a little bit of this is different. I'm not used to it. They have yet to sign anybody, right? Um, Manchester United has made their first signing. Arsenal have made 2 signings. Spurs have made 1,000 signings. Manchester City have made signings. So I think feeling like they're behind and the new era doesn't feel the same. And, coming in for Rafinha, that should have been it. And I do think if Roman Abramovich had been there, that would have been it. But now Barcelona feel like they can go at Chelsea. They feel like they have a chance. It's a new situation. De Ligt, looked like something that was in motion. Now all of a sudden Bayern are interested. And so it may just be the territory that we're in, that there's just a couple of really good players for key positions and they have to fight for these players and they're not used to it. Or the change in ownership has led to there being a little bit of maybe, things slipping through the cracks. I don't know. But that being said, you're going to sign Raheem Sterling. This whole he's a tap-in merchant nonsense is just so stupid. Raheem Sterling is a world-class player. If he comes to Chelsea, he improves your attack. He becomes instantly the best attacker that you have. So don't know why that would be an issue. And Ake, I mean, I guess it's because he came through their academy, buying him back. He's all right, but that won't be it. There's still plenty of transfer window to go. But I do think when you look around at some of the signings that, their contemporaries are making, they were in for Richarlison, Tottenham got that done, and for Gabriel Jesus. And as much as they want to act like they weren't, you were. You were in for these players and you didn't get them. So, Manchester United, Frankie de Jong, these are big signings. So Chelsea needs to, get going. But I think they will. And there is panicking and frustration. But I think all of that does come from just maybe a little bit of what's going on. This Boehly guy, what is he all about? But what do you think it comes down to? Do you think it's, not trusting the hierarchy now that there's some new people involved, or just a little bit of, just fans being fans?
I think a lot of what you said, I don't want to repeat. It was absolutely spot on. You've also got this situation where last Tuesday. Yes, last Tuesday. Is it Tuesday today or Wednesday? Is it Tuesday?
If you told me it was Friday, I'd believe you. I think it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday today. Last Tuesday, we finished this show, and within minutes of finishing, the Rafinha Chelsea news broke. And at that moment, when the Rafinha and Chelsea news broke, there was this sense and there was this feeling and there was this, we're about to pull in a big deal. And then that faded. And like when anything falls through your fingers, there's a sense of feeling quite low and deflated. And they need to just get a few deals in to perk the Chelsea fans up. And I think that once Sterling is announced, and they're still protruding longer than Chelsea wanted it to, but it's still in a good position. I think that once Sterling's through the door, they're still leading the race for De Ligt. They've got more money than Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich don't want to pay the money that Juve are asking for. This is going to become, I said tweet there, this is going to become a battle of money. Chelsea have got to put the money where their mouth. They bring in De Ligt, they bring in Sterling. Maybe Ake is a player they bring in. They start bringing in these signings. I think they'll be okay. I also think with Chelsea, they've got a much better squad than I think even their own fans believe right now. I think there's almost been this forgetting how good certain individuals in that team are. Yes, Rudiger leaving is bad news. Listen, Christiansen leaving, I don't think there's much cop in that. Aspilicueta, very good servant, but of course, very much past his best, as it were. The midfield needs that revamp. We kind of know that it does. I still think you'll buy a midfield player. The attack, yes, you'd like to get rid of lots of those players that are up the top. And it looks like it's going to be right now. Lukaku, of course, is gone. And then Ziyech that will move on. But you'll make those signings, 4 or 5 of them. I know there's a lot of clubs looking at Broja. I think Broja is going to get a chance and be very good for you. You've got Conor Gallagher coming back into this team next year. There's a lot to be excited about as a Chelsea fan, but I think it's the fear of the unknown. New owners, a new approach. They are, as you say, they are far more economical. Doesn't mean they're tight or they're going to act broke, but it's like, well, we need to make sure we get the right price for players, sell people at the right times, so that the process is a little bit slower. But I do think our Chelsea fans have got to relax a little bit more. And a few have said we're not panicking. It's just frustration. And I do get the frustration. But remember, it was only like 5 weeks ago, you were still under the sanction rules and you couldn't even talk to players. And then what happened is that the new owners came in and saw that your manager and your directors of football and the sporting directors, etc., were on different wavelengths. And they've gone, hang on, we weren't going to do this summer, but we're going to get rid of them and give you what you want, Thomas Tuchel. So you're now also starting flat-footed with a number of targets that you haven't been talking to all year. Some of these transfers, you look at Gabriel Jesus, months of work have gone into that. Yuri Tillemans at Arsenal hasn't even completed yet. They haven't put the bid in yet. A year Arsenal have been working on that deal. So Chelsea fans have just got to understand that it isn't going to happen overnight. And the worst thing you can do as a football club right now, Chelsea, is panic and just snapshot buy players that you're not too sure on, that don't fit what Thomas Tuchel wants. You're going to try and build something very much in the same way that City and Liverpool have now. You're taking what Roman did brilliantly and you're essentially adapting it to the year 2022, where continuity, club philosophy and system, a cohesive style across all your teams, the types of players you buy, where you loan your players out to, is going to become absolutely paramount to how Chelsea operate under the Boehly Group. That's just going to take you a little bit of time to adapt. And I just think a little more patience is needed. But it's hard when you're all so used to having Roman. It just went boom, 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 done. Quick, decisive decisions. And it did work. You won 2 Champions Leagues. You won a number of Premier Leagues. But you haven't been as good since 2014 as you were in the first sort of 10 years or so of his ownership. Yes, you won a Champions League and a couple of league titles, but you've not challenged for the league in 5 years. Why? Because of the way that Liverpool and City have been operating. You have to adapt. You have to become more like them. But it is going to take you a little bit of time, in my opinion. I just think there isn't.
If you want to become like them, just buy their players. That's essentially the formula.
But listen, I don't even think Nathan Ake's not even a bad sign. I don't understand the panicking. Nathan Ake, 3 years ago, when a lot of people were looking at him when he was at Bournemouth, a lot of clubs were, he's talented. I remember seeing Chelsea fans say, we shouldn't let him go, be a good backup. You lot are going to play 4-4-2 next year. If you land De Ligt, Ake's a backup. I know he's maybe a little bit more expensive than you want, but he's a backup. He's your third choice centre-back. It's going to be De Ligt and it's going to be Thiago Silva. That's a really good
partnership. Do you think they're going to get De Ligt?
I think they've got a great chance. I think they've got a really good chance of getting him. Well, do you think he's going to go Bayern? Do you think he's going to go Bayern then?
I don't know. I mean, it would be nice to see them miss out on a couple more targets. Just because. But, I mean, I feel like the financial power that the Premier League has, and in particular, like Chelsea, I do think that, like, financially, they have an ability to do things that other clubs just don't. And we know Bayern Munich do not overpay. They don't, so I don't know what would have to happen to get it done. But yeah, the little exclusive that came out, I was like, oh, that's nice. Got to battle it out for De Ligt as well. Cool. But they might get him.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone through as many of those reports as I can. I mean, Nazir Kinsella here says that discussions regarding Nathan Ake are thought to be more advanced than De Ligt. Of course, they're not in a battle for anybody else. Man City want to recoup the 41 million they paid for Ake, which isn't expected to be an issue. Main issue holding up any deal is City's desire to sign a replacement. What I find intriguing, Roy said it last night on the top six, that he's not very keen on Tuchel's talent ID.
Who said that?
Roy, Chelsea fan on the top six. And I was kind of like, I don't think there's anything wrong with talent ID. I just think this is, we're not linked to as many fashionable players as I want. We're not linked to the players that everybody on social media is gushing over. Like Raheem Sterling's one of them. So many Chelsea fans are just not that psyched. I'm like, do you know how good Sterling is? He's one of the best inside forwards in Europe over the last 6 years. Easy. And he's still got years left ahead of him. No injury problems. He's better, honestly, barring Eden Hazard, in the last 10 years, I don't think they've had an attacker as good as Raheem Sterling at their club. Costa, maybe you throw into that.
No.
But I don't think anybody's better than Raheem Sterling. He is so good. And they're not excited. I don't understand it.
Oh, no. Throw me all the City leftovers you can give me. I'll take it.
You guys are City light. You are City light at Arsenal.
Yeah. City on Wish.
Yeah, Wish.com City.
The Wish version.
They should just let you win their League Cup. You know, like teams are allowed to have their team playing like the FA Vans Trophy. Their under 23s can play in the lower level trophies. That's what the City should let you guys do for them.
Exactly.
You used for a little while. You were City's feeder club as well. I remember though, when that money first came to City, the amount of Arsenal players they were buying was crazy. It's crazy.
That's how they built themselves up.
But exactly,
there's always been a connection there. Terrible times. The one player that we should have sold to them, we didn't, and had to give him away to you guys. We ended up with
I wish you had gone City. Abdul here says, disagree, Terry. Raheem Sterling has been average since 2020. I don't think so. I think the change is as good as a rest. He's going to come back alive.
I think he'll have something to say. Like, he's in his prime. You know, it's World Cup year. I think Raheem Sterling, it also depends on what Chelsea do with their system. I do think there's an issue there in terms of scoring goals. Maybe with the individuals changing, that'll help. But I can't help but look at that group of players and think, are they really that crap where they can't score enough goals? Or, is it system? But Raheem Sterling is such a good player. Like, come on. And the thing about getting in-league talent, which I think a lot of teams are doing, is so that they can hit the ground running. A lot of people are not trusting these from other league talents anymore because they are overpriced and they always need adaptation. Look at all the players that you guys bought. Timo Werner was supposed to be like the best thing. Paid like, 50 million for him. He's flopped. Kai Havertz needed 2 seasons to get going, and he cost 70-something million. Ziyech never really got going. So getting Raheem Sterling in means you start right away. He's going to know the league. He's going to be putting goals in the back of the net. I just don't really see the downside of it. I really, really don't.
It's all about fashion. It is all about fashion and what for a lot of fans, it's like what looks good, what feels good. It's a bit like Lisandro Martinez. Man United fans and Arsenal fans are buzzing about him because it's fashionable. Everyone's like, I've read this thing about him. He sounds good. He sounds this. If he was from a different country, or his hair color was different, or he was a little taller or a little shorter, it would change everybody's opinion. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it's all about what's fashionable. It's a bit like things like Love Island. No one enjoys Love Island. It's just fashionable to tweet about it, so everybody watches it. So, I need to join in the Twitter bug. Everyone tweeting about it. Let me watch it just so I can be in the gang. Honestly. Sheep everywhere. That's all it is. I'm not even against the show per se. It's the people that watch it. It's like I literally saw a guy tweet going, I love being involved in the Love Island chat online. I'm like, poor you. Imagine that's your life. That's the best part of your day. I get to tweet about Love Island. Rah, bruv. Honestly, go out and live a little, get some air. But there we go. Terry, what's it saying? I've lost it now. It's gone. I've lost the comment. I was going to read the comment out, and now I'm not because I can't find it. No, actually, Jerry, bro. What's your problem? There must be someone in the comment section called Jerry that's winding people up. I'm not too sure. But guys, we're on 777 likes. We need to get to 1,250, and I will gift 20. That's 2 10s, 20 memberships to you, the audience. They picked up random by YouTube. I will gift them if we hit 1,250 likes. We need to get them up right about now, my people. Jess is a big fan of Love Island. I did hear that rumor, to be fair. If you want to see the Champions Leagues while in London, come to West London. Nothing to see in North London. Well, Liverpool, Spurs are in Champions League. I'll see a Champions League. You mean the trophy? I hear you. Good little bit of banter there. Thiago Silva needed no adaptation. It's more about age and player profile. I think that's right. Listen, there's always less risk with buying from within the Premier League. And of course, some people come in. Bruno Fernandes, Thiago is a great example. They come into the Premier League. Mane came in with Southampton, was excellent straight away. A great example, Dimitri Payet. Some people come in and they just get it. The league suits them. There are other players that take a little bit of time to adapt. And sometimes it isn't even the league. Sometimes it's a new city, a new culture, a new speed of life. So you have to adjust to all these things. And I think that there is just a little bit less risk with a player of Raheem Sterling's age, as you say, in profile. And he's a fantastic signing. I'm just a little bit miffed as to, I don't know. I think Chelsea fans are just really downplaying it so much. It's unbelievable.
But keep melting down, guys. It's very enjoyable. I'm loving it. Keep melting down.
Some Chelsea fans online, now I want to get Chelsea fans' opinion on this that are watching, though. I do feel with some Chelsea fans online, it is like watching a kid that always gets their own way being told no. There is an element of there's a fraction of Chelsea fans where it's like they are like spoilt brats. It's like, no, I can imagine them in the corner of the supermarket, stamping their feet, arms folded and sulking because their mum said, no, you're not having a new toy today. You know, it's one of them ones.